it's slightly out of tune, I know. I just put the strings on a while ago. Every once in a while I run across these. What is it? Well, if you called it a resonator guitar, have a beer. If you called it a dobro, go whip yourself. Dobro is a brand, not an instrument type, and people often get that wrong. There's no such thing as a dobro as an instrument type. It's purely a brand of resonator guitar. There are basically two kinds of resonator guitars. This is a round neck, so you play it sort of like a acoustic guitar. Action is set up relatively the same as an acoustic guitar, although a little on the high side, because the idea is to be able to dig in and get those notes. See if I have a slide anywhere nearby. Here's a ceramic slide, and you can obviously play these with you can play them with a slide as well, with the action set up, you know, on the high side. So this is a round neck. It looks like an acoustic guitar with a resonator cone, and you know, the speaker grills. There, it's got a sort of 3 sound holes. Fairly typical spruce top, mahogany back and sides. I've had square necks as well, and those are set up really high action and made really to play on your lap. Slide this way, although I've seen people play them with a guitar grip and slide like I just played. So I am not a massive fan of these, so I tend to move them on when I set them up and run into them. Once I run into one I really like, I'll probably hold on to one, but so far I've always moved them on. This one here is a brand that you've never heard of because they just started cropping up, and it's a brand called Strinberg. Actually, I should show you like that. Strinberg, just like the Danish playwright August Strindberg. A bit of my literature background coming in there. Strinberg, and I got it from a distributor that sells those Cozart guitars, so it may or may not be related to that brand, I'm not sure. Yeah, like I said, the materials on this are pretty nice. You know, it's a spruce top, mahogany back and sides. It's all bound with cream binding. It's done pretty well. Rosewood board, mother of pearl inlays, it looks like. So I mean, it's decently put together. Nice chrome tuners on this, not bad at all. It's heavy, of course, because of the metal hardware on it. But I've seen them a lot worse than this, the cheap ones that you can find. Some of them are horrific. This one's not bad. I would say it's not high-end, of course. It's probably the lower end of mid-range, if we can quantify it that way. But a resonator guitar, they're fun to play. It's nice to have one in your arsenal, particularly if you play blues or slide or even bluegrass, things like that. This one here is new, and you know, they tend to play in a little bit. It's not resonating as much as I want it to. I mean, the high strings, obviously you can hear the metal resonator, but on the low strings I don't hear it as well. Could play in a little bit, could also need some more tweaking. May just be, you know, sort of, you know, that kind of sound throughout. I mean, these types of things, kind of like banjos and mandolins, if you want the really good sounding ones, you have to pay a bit more. But you could certainly mess around with strings. These are just D'Addario XLs. I buy them in bulk and put them on everything. It's cheaper that way. And a lot of guitarists I sell to just tear the strings off and put their favorite brand on. So I just buy bulk and string them all up the same way. But it sounds reasonable. You probably could get more sound out of it. I'm not putting it as one of my secrets series. Those I really recommend. I think this is just yeah, a decent resonator, but you could probably find other brands just as good in the same price range. These go for about anywhere between 160 and 200 to 240 maybe for the cheaper ones. And then of course if you want something like a Guild, a Gretsch, I think Fender makes resonator guitars as well, and of course Dobro, the brand. The higher end stuff you're going to pay more, like 3, 4, 6, 800 for. So people should keep that in mind. What price bracket you're in. Often I get people comparing to their, you know, Second World War era vintage resonator guitar. It's just not fair. I mean, these are mass produced. They're getting better and better at this lower end range as the you know, the techniques of making and the manufacturing gets more precise with CNC machines and all that. But yeah, it is what it is. It's an entry level resonator guitar, round neck, which is, you know, most people I find that want one of these tend to want the square neck ones. So for what it is, I think it's really decent. Look out for this brand Strinberg. It's got a nice little fleur-de-lis inlaid on the top, which is a nice touch. Reasonable, good entry level, slightly higher than entry level perhaps, resonator guitar. A lot of fun. Just thought I'd share that with you. So there we go, and I'll see you next time.